What's up, and welcome to the Boys of Fall Week 2 edition. Boy, it was fantastic sitting on the couch. I do feel like I was a little more active. Trying to help my wife out a little bit, but I am ready to be like fully planted on the couch this Saturday. Ty, how you feeling this morning?
I mean, you're better than me. I was absolutely useless, unavailable from kick to kick.
Yep.
From noon to whenever that final game was over, I was unavailable. Totally into college football.
Yep. Yes, sir. It was very nice to be back. So a reminder, if you're watching on YouTube, watching on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it anymore. I suppose I'm getting used to calling it X. Just like on YouTube, I should be able to pull up comments. So if you're watching on X, drop a comment here. Let me test it. Let me see if I can pull that up. I'm pretty sure I can. We got Pierre. Looks like we got Walt in here. It is week 2. I'll pull up the recap here in a second. Couple housekeeping real fast. Number 1, this cough's doing better, but it's still here, so I apologize. Number 2, I have 3 young boys. If that door opens behind me, it is one of them sneaking in. I've got a 5-year-old watching the other 2. Mom is out and about, so I apologize if we have a visitor. I've got to run away real fast. Number 3, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description here. Ty, phenomenal pre-flop better. However, even better live team totals. The only way you can get on these runs. We're betting Alabama State and hitting it is to be in the Discord. I've got a link there at the bottom. We've got a code, all caps, NFL, saves you 40%. That drops it down to $24 in that first month. That's obviously less than $1 a day. And then if you're on X, on the top of my link, you can check that out as well. We had a lot of people asking about that. I've already got a couple builders posted. Ty was up burning the midnight oil last night, seeing he had a bunch of stuff there. Over under interruption plus 120. That's a heck of a bet. I would probably hammer that one. I'm going to work on pulling up. Let me see. Where am I going? I got to get to.
But yeah, speaking of those live plays, like for example, like last night, like we hit like Western Illinois, like live team total over 0.5, scored a touchdown. It's very hard for teams to shut teams out in college football.
Right, when they get that whatever. So when they get to the point where like it's under a touchdown or under a field goal, like you just need a point or whatever. Yeah.
As soon as it gets under 2.5, I am all right on it. And we even hit Eastern Washington. Now they did score like 7 early, but in the third quarter, they started moving the ball pretty well against Boise State. They got in a position for a field goal when it was like over 7.5. They got in position for a field goal. That was Western Illinois. Missed it, so we took them at 0.5. And then Eastern Washington, I just felt like they would get another opportunity, and sure enough, they did. They came through for us.
So pulling up the recap here, I sucked. Week 1's tough. Kent State won. Talked about them coming out trying to get a win. I have never been so disappointed in a college football player than watching this Archie Manning performance. They didn't really give him a chance, it felt like to me. I was all Manning for Heisman, and it's like, man, I have no idea now. Alabama, same thing. I trusted a lot of first-time starting quarterbacks, Notre Dame as well. Notre Dame wanted to pass and not be a running team and just let Jeremiah Love, just stand back there or be a decoy or whatever. So hopefully I learned from my mistakes here. But Ty turned around and he had some green on there. Ty, how'd you feel about that one?
Penn State was annoying. Southern Miss was right there. They played really well the first half, and then, they just it was like one touchdown, switched it up, and then they just couldn't recover really from that. Penn State really frustrated me. They should be putting 50 points up on some of these teams, and they don't. And then obviously I do the dogs barking, who I think will win straight up. Southern Miss, no show. Toledo hung tight the whole game. They looked great. That's who I should have took as an actual play. They were 10.5. And then North Carolina, I will never bet you again. Chapel Bill, I don't care. You'll never be bet again. Absolute trash. Absolute trash.
Yeah. So speaking of t-shirts, I wore my this Feezy's t-shirt here, Rhino Gang. It says gang at the bottom. We have reminder. There's also UFC on Saturdays. That's always been my biggest struggle in trying to follow him. He's it's fantastic at betting at MMA. I'm just busy on a Saturday, and sometimes I forget about it. But that is another addition, obviously, to the Discord there. Another reason to kind of check us out there is we do have multi-sport action or whatever.
I will say this: I'm going for the sweep today.
Sweep, yeah.
I'm going for it. Yeah, I feel very good.
We've I swept week 1 last year, and then this year I reverse swept week 1. So you got to imagine I can be better. Look, imagine you be a little better.
You can't be worse.
Yeah, right. Can
so
only do the same, but not worse.
Right. I mean, listen, I had a reverse once last year too, and I remember how crappy it felt having to get on here when you throw the graphic up. So I applaud you for doing it, because a lot of people, when they have a day like that, they don't want to get back up here. They don't want to show their face. They don't. So, look, good days come with bad days. It's all about the fact that you just own them. So
there we go.
Forward.
I was trying to look at I was gonna kick us off. I'm ready to go. I don't think mine are in order. I was trying to pay attention. We're just gonna get going here. Been doing enough talking.
I don't have any noons. I have no noon games.
Yeah, I don't think I do either. And at the end here, I see, we had a question here. We'll go, hang around. Let us get through our plays here. Then we'll talk about, what we got going on. The noon slate is a little lacking. The Iowa State and Iowa game, I think, should be pretty good. That's probably going to be on most people's TVs. Maybe the Illinois and Duke game, depending on where you live. But Iowa State, that rivalry, that's always so popular there. If you like punts, that punt first 2 drives may not be a bad bet. Those have been coming out to like plus money. That's probably a pretty good look. But we are going to go to, and I apologize, I want to double check. My notes was at -8.5. It's -9.5. That's okay. It's under a key number. I like Ole Miss versus Kentucky today. I've always been a pretty big fan of Ole Miss. Obviously Jackson Dart went on bigger and better things, looking fantastic with the Giants. But this is a game last year I remember vividly, very, very vividly. I lost a bet off this game. I think I think I just had Ole Miss money line and like a money line builder or something like that. And Kentucky came out there and they beat Ole Miss. They ruined their playoff chances. And that Ole Miss has had this game circled since that game. They're the reason they missed the playoffs. Like I said, early on the season, you generally see Ole Miss. This style of Ole Miss is like these first 4 games is, oh man, like Ole Miss is good. Ole Miss is putting up a ton of points, and then they kind of taper off towards the end, and then they kind of have like an average season, whatever. We are in that phase of Ole Miss killing teams. They're looking for style points here early. They're ranked just outside the top 10, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it in front of me. Oh, 20. I'm sorry. They're ranked 20th. So they want some style points, and who better than to put up just a whooping embarrassment on a team that knocked them out last year. I think Ole Miss has a lot of motivation just to go out there and just to go until the end of the fourth quarter and really just put up a bunch of points. So for me, first play -9.5. As long as you get it under 10.5, I'm cool with it. You go Ole Miss -9.5.
All right, Ole Miss -9.5. The Rebels. Now, if you guys were with us last year, one of my favorite plays. It's the I'm proud to be an American. Where at least I know I'm free. It's the salute the service play of the day. All right. We're going back to the Jim Thorpe of modern college football. The guy that should have won the Heisman last year. Yeah, we were on Travis Hunter, but Blake Horvath, I thought, was the man. Could have been the man. You won the bet.
No, I was going to say, can you hear that?
You won the bet. All right. Navy team total over 40.5. Here's why. UAB gave up 34.2 points per game last year. I got notes written down. Navy averaged 31. They were fantastic on the ground. Last week, you heard Jort talk about it earlier. We slammed Alabama State multiple times in a row. Guess who they played? UAB. And they put up 42 points last week against UAB. That's Alabama State. What does Navy like to do? Run the triple option. Alabama State rushed for over 200 yards last week. Navy's going to score 40+, potentially a 50 burger here. It's the salute the service play of the day. Navy team total over 40.5. And Scott, congratulations on your bet winning in literally like the first quarter.
Yep. Yeah, I apologize. We had this picture thing in the corner behind that door, and of course they had the play right there, and they just broke all the pictures and the moment. That's just what I don't know if you all got kids, if you got boys, and especially 3 of them. Anyway, we were talking about Navy. Nice little segue into I have a play on Navy as well. It was nice to see Ty. Liking them. I missed what he said, so hopefully I can kind of come along with some of that stuff. And I was checking to make sure this line's been moving between 21.5 and 20.5. So it must be getting some resistance at the full 3, over a 3 touchdown score or whatever. But, UAB just allowed 42 points to Alabama State. We talked about being on that team total, hitting that over and over and over. And, they just allowed 202 rushing yards in this game, in their previous opponent there. Now they're going against one of the best, if not the best, rushing attacks out there. Honestly, I mean, it could be 21-0 at halftime. We end up seeing like a 35-7. I don't know, something like that. But I mean, whatever your team total is, we got to get to that point. But Navy, I think Navy certainly runs away with it. And we got, speaking of our MMA capper, Feezy, I showed you the shirt earlier, but our boy Feezy's in the house here. Posting the MMA plays for us. So yeah, my second play is going to be Navy minus 20.5. I would have been fine taking 21.5, honestly, because I think it's going to be a blowout, but it's sitting at 20.5, and it's probably smart to buy it down just because a hook is such a nasty thing, especially at the end of a game or a backdoor cover. Certainly not something you have to worry about if you have, the right number.
Yep, we just said the same exact stuff, so perfect. We didn't miss a thing. Next, look, I consider myself a self-proclaimed Overs Club member. I even have awarded myself the president of the Overs Club. Kind of egotistical, but hey, is what it is. But I love overs. Everyone loves an over. I personally hate unders unless it's an Iowa game. It's just because it's not fun to watch. So if I put out bets, they're usually going to be overs. I'm not going to, even if I think the under, and that's not the way to do it. But we're going to go Texas State versus Utsa, a battle down there in Texas, over 64.5. All right, they gave up 42 last week. And Utsa was able to find success against Texas A&M. Okay, Texas State dropped a 50 burger on a MAC team. 3 different Bobcats rushed for 70 yards. Lincoln Pear actually ran for 167. All right, these dudes can run. And last year, Texas smoked them 49-10. I expect the Roadrunners to show up a little bit more than last year. Still expect Texas State to get in the 40s. This game has it over written all over it. A good old Texas shootout down there on one of the oil rigs. Land band coming to visit. Friday Night Lights, whatever you want to consider it. There's going to be a Wild West shootout down there in Texas. The Last Stand at the Alamo with Billy Bob.
Oops. I don't know.
Go again.
Huh? No, I don't know. For some reason, that started to play our intro for some reason. I really like McCowan or McCowan. How do you say? Jake, whatever, or is that his dad?
That's what's his name's son.
Owen. It's Owen, I think, is the kid's name, is the quarterback for UTSA. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that. All right, no. So speaking of overs, I got one myself here. Actually, yeah, it's the only one that I have. We have boy, I tell you, I guess outside looking in, I'm betting a team that scored 0 points last week. Rutgers versus Miami, Ohio, over 45.5. I think it's just a really low total. Miami, did not score any points. I forget who they played, but I mean, it was a pretty decent opponent. Oh, Wisconsin. I believe Wisconsin. Wisconsin's got a pretty good defense. Wisconsin's defense is kind of back, it seems like. Rutgers definitely wins this game. I think the spread's too big. I think the spread's coming down actually a little bit. I feel Rutgers can win this game here, but I think the spread's too large. They've put up 34 points in the first matchup, but they gave up 31. So, I mean, there was 65 points in their game. Now they're facing a Miami, Ohio team that, didn't score a point. But this is it's really just a backing of Rutgers. It's backing Rutgers offense, and it's also backing Rutgers defense to not or to continue to not perform, the way they would obviously hope to, give up, 2 scores to Miami and let Rutgers kind of do, put up 30 themselves, and then we're nearly, we're there essentially, So I think Rutgers gets them up. Rutgers and Miami, Ohio over 45.5 is my third play. I think it is now.
Overs Club. I was screaming in it. I probably should chill out a little bit. Does my mic sound all right? Like that?
Yeah, I mean there was a couple times, but I didn't think it was too bad.
Okay, it was probably because I was screaming. All right. So next we're gonna go to I'm going back to the well. Last year, for the last 2 years, since Kansas, 2 years ago, Kansas's team 3 years ago, back when we were with who, Kansas's team total was over half. That was their win total. They took that and they did it in the first 3 games. So I have been a Jalen Daniels guy since then. We're going to take Kansas team total over 20.5. It's 21.5. Bump it down just 1 point. Kansas, I think, is going to win this game outright. All right, I fully believe that. But we're going to take their team total, 20.5. Jalen's just a dog. That's one of the notes I have written down here. Jalen Daniels is a dog. Kansas has already played 2 games, up on the competition. They've already scored 46 and 31 so far. I expect them to be able to get us over 20.5. Let's go with the Jayhawks. Rock chalk, Jayhawk, over 20.5.
Always like their jerseys too.
Great.
I always I found myself making a jersey bet on them once or twice.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah, I definitely like them a lot. As long as he stays healthy. Dude's got back issues, and I mean you know about that, but yeah, guys always hurt.
You don't throw me under the bus.
Okay, 4th play. 2 more left. This one's 7:30, something like that. Going with Memphis minus 13.5. Another pretty good line here. Honestly, it feels like it could be more of like a 17.5. I don't feel like it feels trappy, but I feel like this 13.5 is a pretty forgiving line. Memphis won 45-10. They didn't really play anybody. They had 233 rush yards. They had 4 touchdowns on the ground. I think their quarterback threw for 200 and a score. I think he threw an interception too. But I mean, a fairly average, halfway, I guess, good, decent, performance of the quarterback. Going against Georgia State, who just got whooped by Ole Miss 63-7. They gave up almost 300 yards on the ground to Ole Miss. You have a Memphis team that just put up 233 and 4 touchdowns. I mean, I don't know what mathematical not theory or whatever. I can't think of the word. What is it, like additive property or something like that? Anyway, I mean, the way it shakes out, there's no reason to think that it's not a lopsided game. Memphis should win this one, I think, comfortably, and should just put up a ton of yards on them, in my opinion.
I have a Memphis play also.
I was excited to see that.
So we'll do Memphis team total over 34.5. It might be 35.5. Just move it to point. Pay a little bit of extra juice. Get yourself under the key number. That stuff is important. All right. So Memphis team total over 34.5. Jort kind of went over it. Last week they scored 45. Last year they averaged 35.7 points per game. Ole Miss dropped 63 on Georgia State. And they gave up 33.8 points per game last year, and we're 1-7 in Sunbelt play. Thank you, Chris. Transitive property. That guy knows what he's talking about. That's
there you go. That's what I was trying to get out. Appreciate it.
Math guy.
There you go.
So Georgia State's not. I'm going with Memphis.
Yeah.
Team total over 34.5.
And where Kansas, I mean, I've always liked myself some Kansas too, but I had been a Memphis supporter for a while. I mean, Seth Hennigan's not there anymore. He's in the NFL somewhere. I don't know if he made a team or not. I know we've seen him in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, good squad. Like that squad.
Fun to watch.
Speaking of good squad, I think BYU is still good. I don't think it was a fluke. BYU ranked, though, or no? Man, I've been a little outside. No, BYU is not ranked. They're going against Stanford, who might just be one of the worst teams in the league, at least bottom 10, I would say. The note I have written down here at the top says this BYU team is special. Sounds like I'm on ESPN. And I also said Stanford team isn't. So that just makes a whole lot of sense why I like them at 20.5. They scored 69 points in their first game. They put up 606 total yards of offense. BYU, there's no reason to think that Stanford can slow that down at all, in my opinion. BYU is unranked. BYU could use to put up some just wallopings. They could use to put up a lot of points. That's where we talk about style points. You got to look good, get the world talking, get buzzing, get in the top 25, and then start kind of building from there. BYU by a ton, in my opinion, in this game.
Damn, I look like I got hit by like a boxer or something. See that? Man. Whew. Anyways, all right. My final play, we're going to go to the MAC. We're going to go to Ohio plus 3.5. They played Rutgers tough last week. West Virginia is rebuilding. Ohio was the MAC champs last week. They're a pretty good team, and they are known for upsets, especially within the Big 12. I think they win this game outright, but we're going to take them at plus 3.5. So we're going to go Ohio plus 3.5. And this is just on the fact that these MAC teams play tough. They're one of the better teams in the MAC. They are tough to beat. We saw that last week. Like there was a bunch of them that covered big numbers. Some even won outright. So we're going to go with Ohio plus 3.5.
Really like Navarro, too.
Yes. The kid's a dog.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. We will go to the recap here in a second. We've been talking for 23 minutes, it looks like. Last time, I think we were here for 35, 40 minutes, something like that. So we certainly have a little bit of time here in terms of what we do normally. Now's the time. Now it's time to ask any questions you guys might have. It looks like there is about 40 live people on YouTube. Twitter, you can't really tell. I know there's not that many people. I think that so many people clicked on it, but there's people watching on X, I'm sure, as well. So in the comment section, we can pull it up down here. Asking questions about certain games or whatever.
My dogs of the day, and last
year, go ahead with that.
I gave out Travis Hunter at plus like 4,000, I believe, to win the Heisman. I'm going to give you guys my Heisman winner this year. I do it after I watch all the Week 1 games. It's obviously clearly an overreaction, but it's worked last year. We're taking Devin Dampierre from Utah. There's been 5 guys ahead of him that had the stats that he had the year before when he played at New Mexico. All 5 of them are Heisman winners. He's now at a better team in Utah, a team that is like one of the only teams out that direction that isn't a USC that gets coverage. Utah is talked about a lot. Utah goes to big bowl games. Utah is put on TV. Devin Dampierre is a dog. If you get an opportunity to watch him, he is very, very good. We're going to take Devin Dampierre. When I took it, it was plus 3,500, so we're taking Devin Dampierre to win the Heisman.
1,800 right now. Plus 1,800 right now.
Plus 1,800. Okay, so I gave it out last week after the game, and it was plus 3,500. So I'm giving it to you guys now. And then the dogs of the day, we're going to go Vanderbilt money line, Kansas money line, and Ohio money line. There's so many other dogs I like today. I like Duke. I'm trying to think, who else do I like? I feel like Iowa. You know, at plus 3.5, I like Iowa.
Here, I can pull up the.
But yeah, so those are the three dogs: Vanderbilt, Kansas, Ohio.
All right. Yeah, I think I certainly agree. Iowa. I am definitely on the Iowa side. Can be sometimes this game can just be goofy. It could also be horrendous. It could be exciting. You know, I guess we'll certainly see how that goes. But okay. We'll go through a couple here. I got this pulled up so we can kind of see. I can at least see like the spreads and stuff. Just look at FanDuel on the right here is just what we have here. If you want to parlay the whole show, it's plus 19,823. If you want to do that, throw $5 on it. You win $991. It's pretty good. All right. Where do we go?
I would take North Texas all day long.
Yeah, I like them too.
I think the spread's 10.5, so I think you're probably talking about it all. But yeah, if I probably wouldn't take it at 10.5, I'd move it to 9.5. But at 6.5, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 9.5 on FanDuel right now.
Okay.
Much more explosive than Western Michigan, that's for sure, in my opinion.
Oregon scoring over 34.5. I don't even know that I got to that game.
As far as Clemson, I mean, I'm still big on Clemson. Their team total, considering what happened from the offense last week, same situation last year, scored 66 next week. Sure. I don't. Who does Clemson play? Some like small school, probably. I don't remember seeing a line for them.
Who?
I don't even know when they play, to be honest.
Clemson.
Oh, Troy.
So I personally always stay away from anytime Troy plays a big team, just because these guys somehow will miraculously beat a big team. I'm not saying that it should happen or will happen. I have no, I have not handicapped this game. But anytime I see Troy versus a Clemson, I'm like, I'm just going to stay away from that.
For sure.
Let's see.
Baylor, I lean Baylor. Would certainly like the plus 3.5, I would imagine, with he's got the 2 there, but I think there's gonna be a lot of points in that game is my thought process. I think Baylor's sneaky this year.
I was high on them last week and they burnt me. So yeah. Michigan, Oklahoma. That game's tough, man. I would probably that game was tough. I would go with Michigan with the spread. Yeah. Syracuse spread. Syracuse, I'll tell you right now, man. All right, I'll just give it to y'all. I took that in the Discord. I gave that play out. We are on UConn plus 7.5. What Jim Mora is building up there in Connecticut is actually special. They're one of the worst teams in college football. We got you. We'll look at Tulane. What they're building up there in Connecticut is special. Jim Mora, it looks good. What they're doing is good. Syracuse lost a lot of guys, and they're always in some dog fights. Now, I know that they woke up last week, but I just like Connecticut a lot. And if you're giving me a touchdown, I'm going to take that. And they played last year, and Connecticut lost by 7. And Syracuse certainly does not have the same exact team that they had last year. Kyle McCord's gone. A few of their wide receivers are gone. A few of their guys are in the league. I'm going Connecticut all day long. So Tulane. We got to go to Tulane.
Yeah, Syracuse loved them last year, but I mean they didn't play defense, whatever it was, and then now, Kyle McCord's not there anymore. So like it's just certainly not the same team.
So there are certain teams that I personally only bet on when they're dogs. Syracuse is one of them, Illinois is another, and Rutgers is another. I do not like betting on any 3 of them when they are favorites. There's something about those teams, like when they are dogs, they either know the spread or care about the spread. Those kids respect coin. But when they're the favorites, I just can't. They're just not the type of team to be favorite. Where's the Tulane game?
It's right here, 12.5. It's tough. It's just a tough number. Like, and money line's obviously way out of whack, but them on the road especially too. But I mean, like, I can certainly say I feel Tulane wins, which is the lazy way to take it. But South Alabama also replaced, what was that, Gio Lopez, right? Who is just tearing it up at UNC. But
yeah, literally.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have a feel for that game.
Good money line leg.
Yeah.
Illinois. I think I talked about earlier. I like Illinois. I think they're a pretty good team.
I like Duke. Mensa is a dog. I like him at quarterback. How do you feel about Tennessee scoring 44.5?
That's Chief.
Yeah. I mean, I was on their team total last week. 44 is a lot.
Seems like a lot. And Ty, you said something about it the other day. It was in a group chat, but I haven't handicapped the Tennessee game in like 3 years.
The only thing I will take is like a team total. I mean, they're playing East Tennessee State. Yeah. I think they'll probably have like 31-35 in the first half.
Yeah. I mean, they should kill him.
SMU,
yeah.
We went over that. He's on he likes Baylor. I like SMU.
But then you start to worry about, like, I don't know who Tennessee has next. But you have to worry about that. Like, that's a real thing in college football, is that, like, there's spots where, like, teams are overlooking their first game and then they're going to let off the gas and everything, being prepared for the next.
They got Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. So this is 100% a letdown spot for Tennessee, because they are not worried about this game. They're worried about Georgia up next. They also are not going to want to be as exotic on offense. They're going to want to save some tape. So they're going to be run a vanilla offense that may not be as explosive, because they don't want to put it all out on the table so Georgia has, something to look at.
So Texas, I like their team total. The spread's really, really high. They will most likely cover it. I would imagine that this would be like a get-right game, essentially, right? Not all the pressure's on Archie anymore. The first game's over, and they're back in Texas. As far as Ohio State goes, I feel like this could be a letdown spot, in the sense that, they call the dogs off early. They just had a really emotional game last week at home. I would not touch this game. I would look for it live.
Yeah. I mean, they can start slow, and then you can get them at a 20.5 line or something like that, and they turn it up at halftime. Yep.
I know. I'm not trying to disrespect Ohio State, or I know it's Grambling State. I'm just saying, again, look at games prior and games ahead. And when they're that big, it's just like, all right, like at some point they call off the dogs. How early do they do it? I always like to look at like first half, like spreads or team totals in those games, because most likely those teams are not going to score against these elite programs in the first half. Starters are in, unless some shenanigans happen. And they're usually below 5 touchdowns. Be like 31.5 or something like that. So I would look to a spread there versus a full game where you can get a backdoor cover or some dumb shit when it's their starters versus like the third stringers in the fourth quarter.
Right. That's the thing, unfortunately, with college football, I feel, is that you handicap a little bit of like the extrinsic factors of, like it's, they haven't lost at home in this long, or they're undefeated when they go into this stadium kind of thing, or whatever. There's a lot of outside factors, but it's also like, well, who do they play next week, right? Or whatever. Because I mean, I made that point about Iowa and Iowa State, is that it was very clear that Iowa last week did not run much of an offense. It was very, very vanilla, because they had the rivalry game this week, and they didn't want to put any, if they got a reverse play or if they got a trick, flea flicker or any kind of action there, they're not going to put that on tape. So Iowa knows what Iowa State knows to look for. So like, unfortunately, that's just a real thing. you know, and then obviously you don't want to get your starters hurt. Just like in the NFL, if you're up 40-0 in the third quarter, there's no use to have your star. Why have your star quarterback out there? It's Boobie Miles all over again. You know, you don't want to have that stuff happen, you know. So we'll pull this recap up here though. For myself, we're going with that's not accurate. It's Ole Miss minus 9.5. I don't know where that 2 came from. Ole Miss minus 9.5. Rutgers, Miami, over 45.5 on the total. Navy minus 20.5. Memphis minus 13.5. BYU minus 20.5. So kind of some chalk at the end of the day, but I do feel like these teams really do run away from it. Ty?
Yeah, we're going to go with Navy team total. The salute to service game of the week. Texas State, it's over 64.5. Kansas team total over 20.5. Ohio plus 3.5. Memphis team total over 34.5. I'm going with a lot of overs this week. There's a lot of unknowns still. And then we're going to go with the dogs are barking. Somebody's at the door. Vanderbilt, Kansas, and Ohio. Chris, you bring up a good point. People will be scared to lay the 42, but there is one thing that I know, and that is he knows the spread. Franklin knows the spread. And I think today they put up 50-plus points. I think he was frustrated last week with the backdoor cover. Will not happen again. I'm good.
I'll take it.
All right.
I will take it. All right, guys. You got to go see what these kids are doing. I feel like I keep hearing doors open and it's scaring me what I'm going to walk into. We appreciate you guys coming, hanging out with us. Lastly, again, towards the end, if you hung out this long or you just kind of came in, got the link in the description here to sign up for the Discord. Ty's got some straights out. That's how you get those live team totals. Talked about the Feezy shirt on. I just got a notification and he just put a play out for MMA. That's how you get all that stuff. You got a discount code, all caps NFL, get you signed up there. If you're watching on X, it's up in my bio there as well. You can click on that. I don't have anything else outside of enjoy your day here. Bet smart, manage your units. It's tough on a Saturday. Boy, you can go to bed on a Saturday and be upset with yourself because there's 70 some odd games you're betting on. We have a whole NFL slate coming up here as well. So make sure you guys are being smart with your bets. Win some money. Hang out, bet on some NFL tomorrow. We got a fantastic weekend. The first full weekend of football in forever. Should be we should get Monday off, honestly, after this. It should be a national 3-day weekend for us here. But unfortunately, not everybody's in that same mindset. That's all I have. Ty, do you have anything else to close us out?
Nope. Let's go win some money.
Appreciate you guys for coming in here, and we will see you guys next week.